In 2 weeks. I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice. I feel very guilty because I feel responsible. That's why he's still running.
I was with Trump for 9 straight years. I'm disappointed.
So now they're panicking. Some of the very people who shared the loudest for Trump are now starting to regret it. Why? Because his policies are now eating their pockets. It is wild to watch this shift happening in real life. Let's talk about it. And as always, drop your thoughts in the comments below.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
My aunt voted for Donald Trump. My aunt is on Medicaid. My aunt is a cancer survivor. She's going to lose her Medicaid. This is exactly what she voted for. Did people think that they were personally exempt from his abhorrent policies? Like, he could take away Medicaid from someone, but not from you? Hello? Make it make sense.
Hey, I voted for Donald Trump, and really starting to regret my vote, because this isn't what I voted for. I voted for a lot more people to go to jail. I voted for a lot more politicians to be stripped of their power and put in prison for the crimes that they've committed against humanity. I voted for the Epstein list to come out. The full list. The full fucking list of every politician, every bureaucrat that had anything to do with those minors.
I want to preface what you're about to see by noting I am not looking for sympathy or validation here. I was just expressing some remorse and some grief and some sorrow, because I think it can help a lot of people to kind of process through that. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that. There are moments where I'm just overcome with grief and regret. Not anger, not rage, but just grief and regret over having voted for Trump in 2016. And I get that I've come a long way. I get all that. That doesn't take away those moments. It does not take away the regret, the guilt. I mean, I could work through it, and I do that regularly for a lot of different issues, not just who I voted for in 2016, but I just wanted to document this because this is one of those moments. I just saw the Kamala Harris ad talking about how she is the president for all the people and how Trump has a history of wanting to withhold aid from people who didn't vote for him. And I was responsible. I was partly responsible for putting him in office. I was part of that crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to live with. And I will. But there are moments like right now where that can be overwhelming.
So in the latest saga of FAFO news, a Cuban pro-Trump supporter. I mean, from what I'm hearing, this guy, you couldn't convince him that Trump was not going to do him wrong. Anyway, he pushed for Cubans to vote for Trump. And he pushed and he pushed. And obviously it worked because Trump's in office. Anyway, I'm laughing because you can't make this shit up. He got arrested. And according to the Customs website, you could look it up. His name is Hector Luis Valdez Cocho, or something like that. Anyway, is being processed to be deported back to Cuba. Or you just can't convince these people that this guy does not care. I'm sure there's more to come. So have fun, everybody.
I never thought this day would come. Well, I'm going to regret what I did. I really regret voting for this guy. I'm working on this program for the Sound Power phones batteries. We're researching these batteries for these Sound Power phones. And they cut off our funding. It is really sad. You get to the office and they tell you, we're no longer going to fund your research for these batteries for these Sound Power phones. And, you know, what makes me sad is that these batteries were going to make such an impact on the lives of our deployed troops, especially the sailors out there. And these are for vital communications on board ships. So I truly regret now my vote. And I hope more people speak up just like I did.
Remember when you guys all said that you were voting for Donald Trump because he was going to bring mortgage rates down faster and grocery prices down faster? Well, he already said he's not going to bring grocery prices down. And now the Fed is saying those rate drops they promised to be cutting in 2025, they're not going to be able to do that because his tariff policy is so inflationary that they're not going to be able to drop those rates down the way they said they were going to. Shoot! Because inflation is going to keep going up. And inflation was on its way down before he won the election. Under, who was that again? Biden-Harris. They were bringing inflation down. But Donald Trump, his policies are inflationary. They're going to be going back up, which means rates can't go back down. Sounds like you F around and find out. Good talk.
Well, just like I said they were going to do months ago, and all the Republicans gave me shit about it, they cut Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. This is the biggest transfer of wealth from the bottom 10% of this country to the top 10% that we have ever seen in U.S. history. And yes, they increase taxes on people who make under $50K, while they reduce the taxes of billionaires. Do you guys get it yet? Do you get why we're pissed off yet? Nothing's getting cheaper, and they're not gonna give you any fucking money. They are only interested in lining their own pockets. I don't understand any other reason why you would not unite with the working class right now that is pissed off, other than complete delusion.
Nah, MAGA, come back to the front. Come back to the front. Y'all was all loud and bold and proud of everything. No. This is exactly what you voted for. Don't sit up here talking about something you were lied to. No, baby, you believe the lie you told yourself. You were trying to rationalize the thoughts of an irrational person, and now you sitting up here acting like you're in confusion. Nah, baby, this is exactly what you voted for. Now that Mimo and Papa don't have the Medicare coverage they need to take care of dialysis, now you talking about something that's not what you voted for. Now that he took away research funding for cancer treatment and the HIV vaccine, oh, now this ain't what you voted for. Now that you and your kids can't eat no more because he took away SNAP benefits because you're disabled and can't get Medicaid for you and your kids no more. Now that ain't what you voted for. Oh, no, baby, you voted for it all. You voted for it all. But because you thought it was going to affect people who look like me and other marginalized communities, you was more than willing to vote for him because you thought it was not going to affect you. I'll say it once, I'll say it twice, I'll say it 3,000 times. Unless you are a millionaire, billionaire, or a dictator, you are a minority as well to that man. And now the rest of us got to find out because you decided to F around. I hope that helps.
So now they're regretting it because it's finally affecting them. But let's be real, the warning signs were always there. This wasn't a trick or a secret. The truth was out in the open. But they just choose not to study for the tests. But now that you guys are awake, don't just suck. Speak up, share this video, drop your thoughts in the comment section. It's time to own it.